What better way to spend some quality time with the kids this holiday season than making some yummy snacks that the whole family can enjoy? I'm joined today by Kristen Kenosi, owner of the Culinary Playground right here in Derry. Kristen, thank you so much for inviting us here today.
Thanks for coming. It's wonderful to have you guys here.
How long has the Culinary Playground been active in Derry?
We're coming up on 3 years.
Wow, 3 years. And what age groups are your programs typically geared for?
We have classes for all ages, starting with our mini chefs at 3 years old and all the way up to adults.
Okay, and now you're the resident expert on kid-friendly recipes, and I understand you've prepared something for us to make with you today.
Yes, we're going to make a very easy chocolate-covered snack mix that the kids will have a lot of fun making because they get to pick and choose what exactly they want to include in there, and it makes a lovely holiday gift.
Great, so it should be easy to follow along at home, so let's get started. We are joined by some students of the Culinary Playground today. Kristen, who have you brought with us to help?
We have Alana, who is 9 years old, and we have Rosa, who's 7.
And what schools do you guys go to?
I go to Griffin Memorial. I go to Derry Village School.
And how long have you been cooking?
About 3 years.
3 years.
How long have you been cooking, Rosa?
I have no idea.
A couple of years. Rosa's my daughter, so she gets a lot of opportunity to cook here and at home.
She's an expert. So what is our first step to making reindeer food?
The first thing we want to do is get our chocolate melted. We have a cup of white chocolate chips. You definitely want to use good chocolate. This is Ghirardelli chocolate, and that's a good quality chocolate. We're going to put it into the microwave. I'm going to check it at a minute, see how it's doing. Probably needs about 2 minutes, and once I can stir it and it's smooth, then it is done. So now Rosa is stirring up that melted chocolate. You can see it's all nice and beautiful and smooth. And we're going to add a little bit of vegetable oil. That helps to loosen up the chocolate and give the finished product a little bit of a shine. So Alana, can you do a ½ tablespoon of vegetable oil in there? I also like to add a little bit of cinnamon to this. It's a nice little twist on it, but it gives it a great flavor, especially when mixed with the salty and the sweet. So keep stirring, Rosa, to get that oil mixed in. And Alana, would you put a ¼ teaspoon of cinnamon in there? Rosa can stir that. So keep stirring. It gives it a nice look too. It's all sprinkly in there. So once we have our chocolate nice and melted, we're going to start to put our other dry ingredients in our bowls. So why don't we start down at that end, Alana, with our M&Ms. And you can scoop out a ½ cup of M&Ms and add that to your bowl. Yes, you can stop. That looks great. You could also use chocolate chips. You could use butterscotch, cinnamon chips. You can pass that to Rosa too, and she can put some in hers. And next we have our nuts.
So
and you can fill that up about halfway, Alana. About halfway with the peanuts. Perfect.
Can you use any other kind of nuts?
You could use any nut you wanted. I like the peanuts because they're salted, and you really want that nice salty sweet combination in this dish. And most people like peanuts, but this certainly is a recipe you could do for nut-free friends that you wanted to give it to and leave those nuts out. So you need your bowl, Rosa, that has your M&Ms in it. Yep, you're going to add your peanuts to that. And then we're going to move on to our pretzels. We're using the snap variety of pretzels. And you can measure out a cup of those, but then I want you to break them into pieces so that we have smaller pieces, not those big squares there. So get a nice full cup there, Alana. That was about ½ a cup. Get a few more in there. And then get your hands right in that bowl and break those
Mash
up.
them up.
And of course we washed our hands right before we started, always important in the kitchen. Nice throws, and break up your pretzels. You can pick them up one by one. You want kind of smaller pieces. Pretzel sticks are really nice in here as well and easy to break. And then the last thing we're going to add is our dry cereal. And we have Chex and Cheerios. You don't really want to use a sweetened cereal in here. So, you know, we don't want Captain Crunch going into the snack mix. We have enough sweet going on. So pick just a bland cereal to use here. And we will do a cup of that as well. So let's use this measuring cup. You can each put a cup of your cereal in there. Help to break some of these. You can measure out your cup of cereal.
All right.
So really the bulk of this is our cereal and our pretzels, and then our nuts and our chocolate, we have a little less of those. That's kind of the accent flavors there. So cereal for you.
And this is really great for any age.
Absolutely, yes. Even your little 3-year-olds could make this in the kitchen with you, and some easy measuring skills here.
Can you add anything to this?
What do you have in mind? What would you add?
I don't know.
How about your favorite food? Raisins?
I thought
Raisins of any kind of dried fruit would be really good in
I
here.
thought you were gonna say French fries because that's actually.
No, I don't recommend French fries in the snack mix. So actually the amount of chocolate that we have made here is for both of these. So if you were just making one batch, you would want to do about half a cup of chocolate. So Rosa, let's get about half of that into yours, and you can just drizzle it in there. There we go. And then use your spoon to mix that all around. You want to get everything coated. Here you go, Lonnie. You can use your spoon to kind of pull that out.
Great job, girls.
Yeah, easy peasy. Rose, is that enough chocolate to get everything covered?
No.
How does it look? Yeah, you just want a light coating on all of it. So toss it around a little bit more. All covered there. Beautiful. Now I have some trays prepared. We have cookie sheets with some parchment. You definitely want some parchment or some wax paper down. It makes cleanup a whole lot easier. And these need to set out for a little bit, just about an hour, and they'll get nice and hard, and then you can break them up from there. So once it's all tossed together, we're just going to lay it out on the cookie sheet, kind of in a one layer. So Rosa, can you tip your bowl like this, and you can kind of pull it out of there. And here you go, Alana.
So would you use this as a gift or for party food or?
It's excellent if you're having a party. You could have a bowl of it out. People can go by, grab a handful of it. But it also packages up really nice. You do need to keep it in an airtight container. But you could even put it in a Ziploc and then in a little bag from there in a pretty Tupperware. And it is a nice little, it's a great teacher gift too, if you're looking for little homemade treats for your teachers. So then we just want to spread it out so that we have a nice single layer that will help it to harden. And as that chocolate solidifies, it's going to pull it together here and give it a nice little shell on the outside. So you would just set this aside. It could stay on the counter for about an hour and it will get hard, and then you can package it up from there. So we have a tray that's complete. Grab that for us, Kate. And we got some cute little reindeer bags that we can put it in.
Very
and you
fun.
can see now it kind of, some pieces hold together. You'll get some bigger chunks here, and you can just break it up a little. And then you can fill it. Why don't you each take a bag and we'll add some in. And you can use the spatula or the spoon.
So cute.
So they're colorful, they're a little sweet, a little salty. There's a ton of variation with this, and it's a super easy recipe to do with the kids, and it makes a great gift. You can do it in much bigger batches as well and have lots to give out. Great gift for your bus drivers or other people you want to give a little something thoughtful to around the holidays.
Great idea.
And that is it. And cleanup isn't too bad either, which is always a plus when you're cooking.
Definitely a plus. So Kristen, where can people find out more information about the Culinary Playground?
The website has all of our current classes posted. It's culinary-playground.com, and it's all organized by age. So we have a page for adults, we have a page for our mini chefs, for our school-age children. We have a whole page for camps because we do a lot of cooking vacation camps, and very often we partner with You're an Artist a few doors down, which is an art studio, so that kids can really experience culinary arts as well as painting down at You're an Artist. So it's a nice joint day of camp.
Do Do you have any upcoming events or workshops that people should be looking out for?
We do. We have our cooking series that are coming up in the new year. We have Cooking the Rainbow, which is for our 6 to 10-year-old kids, and every week we'll highlight a different fruit or vegetable that the menu will be based around. And we're starting a new cooking class for teens that we're very excited about. We're calling it Culinary Boot Camp, and it's kind of all the basics that you should have covered. As a teenager, learning how to cook, some advanced skills. We'll get into some knife work, and just learning the basics to get around the kitchen and be able to prepare a meal.
That is such a great asset to have for the kids of Derry. It's really just getting them involved in the art of cooking young is really just very useful.
It is, and it's a lifelong skill. What they learn here, hopefully they're going home and they're replicating, and they're building kitchen confidence. So they feel comfortable to look at a recipe and know how to interpret it. And the more experience they have with that, then they can be making dishes of their own. So that's what's really fun to see in here when kids get to that place where they're able to combine different flavors and cooking techniques and really come up with some unique dishes. So we teach them the basics and hope that they will continue on with that.
Great, well thank you so much for showing us some reindeer food today.
Thank you for coming. Happy holidays.
I can't wait to try some. Can we try some here?
Yes.
Girls, want to grab some?
Go for the M&M.
Happy
holidays from the Culinary Playgrounds.
H&S with Derry Community Television. I'm here this afternoon at the Coffee Factory located in the Hood Commons Plaza, where Santa has decided to visit Derry a little early this year to find out what the children are looking for under their Christmas tree. Owner Gladys York has invited people to come in to try some of their delicious coffee and pastries and enjoy in some of the holiday cheer. So come on, let's go check it out. More minutes before Santa arrives here at the Coffee Factory. I'm with Brayden and Jacob Ross. Brayden, how old are you?
6.
And what about you, Jacob?
3.
And it looks like you guys have brought some lists for Santa today. What is on the top of your Christmas list?
Video game. Batman.
Video games and Batman. And have you been naughty or nice this year?
Nice. Nice.
Wonderful. Well, I hope Santa brings you what you want. Thank you very much. Here with the McCoy family, who are patiently waiting for Santa. Carter and Hunter. Carter, what would you like for Christmas this year?
A toy car that is green and you pull back again, it drives by itself. And Hunter would like a step car for Christmas so he can eat it. Nom nom nom. And chew on it.
Well, that is very nice of you to speak for Hunter, since he can't speak for himself. And Jen, what are you drinking today from the Coffee Factory?
Oh, only my iced mocha, which is my go-to here. We're here all the time.
I like those cars. You pull them all the way back and then you let go and they zoom away. Those are fun. What color? What's your favorite color? Green? You like all the colors? Okay, well that's good to know. Because there can be lots of colors. And who's this? Oh, That's me and Frosty.
So we'll see.
Ice and lemon.
We're all gung ho till we get there.
Right.
You say it.
What you guys want?
I want that.
You still want that? You just told me that. You still want that? I guess you really want that. Power Rangers. Oh my gosh, who's gonna win? It's Power Rangers and Batman. Two things. So what would you win? Batman or Power Rangers? Both would win. That is me. And there's my belt. This belt. 4 years old. You're 4 years old. And my Christmas. Yep. and my Christmas wishes are a toy purple phone. And roller skates. Yeah? What kind of roller skates?
Ones that are sparkly.
Sparkly, just like you got sparkles on your top.
And it's purple.
And it's purple. So purple's your favorite color. And
Also pink.
And pink and purple. Okay, and a purple phone and purple skates, and you like pink too. And you've been nice, and you're 4 years old. And you're here. And you can look at that. Come here. Let me see. Okay, so you're 4 years old, and you've been very nice, and you want toy chocolate. That's like playing with your food. You like toy chocolate? So it's chocolate that's shaped like toys? So after you play with them, then you can eat them. No? No, you want toys and chocolate. What's your favorite kind of candy? Skittles. Oh yeah, do you have a favorite color, Skittle?
Baby.
Or you just like them all? Yeah, they're all good, aren't they? I can never tell the difference in the taste. But I like red ones. I think red's probably your favorite color too. Because you're wearing it. We match. I've got red on too. But you got nice sparkles. Jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, that was awesome.
Santa, we are so excited to have you here in Derry today. About how long does it take you to get here on your sleigh?
Oh, well, it depends on what time frame we're talking about. So it can be in the blink of an eye, and it depends if the reindeer really want to push it, or we are on a tight schedule, as you know. So they can move in the blink of an eye, or we can go casual.
And are you looking for any type of special cookies this year?
Low-fat cookies are becoming the norm. We're trying to be health conscious, so there are so many cookies and so many cookies.
I understand. And
I like the kind with the icing.
all right. Well, have the Derry residents been naughty or nice this year overall?
Derry residents have been very nice. This is a very nice community, and I love coming here to the coffee factory here in Derry. It's one of my favorite venues. They have some great roasted coffee here.
It's beautiful in here. It's a really great shop.
It really is. It really is. It's a fun place to come, and it's so nice to see all the children here. And I try to get here every year.
Great. So we'll look for you next year. And if I can put in a request, I'm looking for a blender this year, and I've been very nice.
Blender. I'm sure there are other things too.
No, just a blender.
Okay,
basically.
just a blender. Well, we'll stay with that.
All right. Thank you, Santa. Gladys, how long has the coffee factory been in Derry?
We've been here for 8 years.
Is this the first year Santa has decided to drop by?
No, actually, he comes every year.
What a fun tradition. It was great today. What are some of your seasonal menu items? What do you pull out for the holidays?
We have, in November, we have actually the apple cider. And then we stop the apple cider for December. And in December, we have the candy cane latte. We have also the gingerbread latte. And we change every year, actually. But usually those ones are the ones that we do for this season.
Now, I understand you're opening a new store in Salem. Tell us about that.
Yes, we actually already did open November 28th, the Saturday after Black Friday. And we are located and I think it's called the Rockingham Mall. It's not the Rockingham, the big mall, but the other one where the Kohl's and Shaw's and Christmas tree shop is.
Okay, so that's right off exit 1, is that correct?
Yes.
And where can people find out some more information about that? What's your website?
Our website is the Coffee Factory, Derry, New Hampshire. And actually over there you can find also some of the things for the Salem location too. We don't have a website for the Salem location yet, but it's still in progress, and you can find the information over there too.
Great. Well, we can't wait to check that out, and thank you so much today for putting this on. This was a great success today, so thank you.
Merry Christmas to everybody in Derry, and thanks for coming to the Coffee Factory. It's so nice to be here, and to the community television here in Derry.
Thank you, Santa.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone at the Coffee Factory for putting on today's event. We had so much fun. Merry Christmas, Derry.
Good grief.
Good grief.
'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds while vision of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Ma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eye should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, and his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he had held tight in his teeth, and the smoke, well, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. Now he was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings and turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose and gave a nod. Up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him explain, ere he drove out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." That was The Night Before Christmas, written by Clinton C. Moore, illustrated by Richard Jess Watson. How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was just 2 sizes too small. Whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Whos, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted window below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. "And they're hanging their stockings," he snarled with a sneer. "Tomorrow is Christmas, it's practically here." Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming, "I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming." For tomorrow, he knew, all the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early, they'd rush for their toys, and then, oh the noise, noise, noise. That's one thing he hated, the noise. Then the Whos, young and old, would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which was something that the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Whos would start singing. They'd sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? Then he got an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do, the Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat, and he chuckled and clucked. What a great Grinchy trick! With this coat and this hat, I look just like St. Nick. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No. The Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max. Then he took some red thread, and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, giddy up! And the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Whos lay a snooze in their town. All the windows were dark. Quiet snow filled the air. All the Whos were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, this is the stop one, the old Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck once, only once, for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. Then he slithered, and he slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present. Pop guns, bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn, and plums. And he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch, very nimbly, stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimbley. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out the icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee, and now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree. And the Grinch grabbed the tree. He started to shove when he heard a small sound like a coo of a dove. He turned around fast and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter, who'd got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why? But you know that old Grinch was so smart and so slick, he thought up a lie and he thought it up quick. Why, my sweet little tot, the fake Santa Claus lied. There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear, and I'll fix it up there, then I'll bring it back here. And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted her head, he got her a drink, and he sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed that tree up. Then that last thing he took was the log of their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire, and the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. It was 1:15 dawn, all the Who's still abed, all the Who's still a-snooze, when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsels, the trimmings and the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rolled with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Pooh-hoo to the Who's, he was Grinchly humming. They're finding out now that Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry boo-hoo. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. But this sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry, very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes, then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means just a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through his bright morning light, and he brought back the toys and the food for the feast, and he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast. How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss.
Merry Christmas from Derry Community Television.
And have a happy, bright, and shiny new year.
Merry Christmas from the Derry Tax Office.
Happy holidays from the Assessing Office at the Town of Derry.
Happy holidays from the Fire Department.
Happy holidays from the Planning Department.
Happy holidays from the Public Works Department.
Merry Christmas from the Derry IT staff. And have a great new year.
Wishing everybody a happy holidays from the administration office. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from the Finance Department. We're in the mood for giving, as you can tell by the red hat and the little tassel. So come and get your money.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Coffee Factory.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!